Hello, everybody, and just here, and welcome back to House MD Episode 2, the anime series, in which we will probably learn what's going on, because that's the biggest question here, really, isn't it? In the previous episode, we've met our genius diagnostician, Ameku Takao, if I'm not mistaken. I should have been prepared. Ameku Takao no Suiri Karte. Yeah. Ameku Takao. And her team? Well, not really. Another doctor, Yu Takanashi, who is also working in the same hospital. He had some issues diagnosing patients, despite Mai Konoike helping him, and he was supposed to end his shift so that he can go with Takao to watch Jurassic Park, because that's something that every diagnostician must see eventually one day. And she was very unhappy that he still had to stick around and diagnose those patients, so she just speed diagnosed them all in a very Gregory House fashion, just barging into their separated area and taking one look. Oh, she has vitamin A pills and blueberry snacks in her purse. Obviously, she must have given too many of them to her kid because he has vision problems, and she thought that vitamin A is gonna help. But she just created vitamin A toxicity. Next. And next case was even more ridiculous because she was able to tell that the dude had a parasite by taking a look at the fact that he had a cane, a cut on his finger, and a tan on his head. And she deduced that he was a fisherman. That was his hobby because he's fishing in a hat. That's why the tan. He has and because he has a tan means he's doing some outdoors activities. He has a cane, so it's got to be something that doesn't require much movement. Well, fishing. And he also has a cut, which was probably when he was taking the hook out of the fish, he stabbed himself, and lo and behold, he is a fisherman, and he ate the raw fish, and he got a parasite. Next case, though, was a little bit more interesting. A dude, probably some sort of a criminal, seeing how he has bleached hair and a tattoo, and we know that in Japan that's the surefire sign of some reject of society. And his leg was missing, seemingly chomped off by a very big set of teeth, and his blood was blue. So, yeah, ain't that a mystery? Police got involved because apparently that dude who died, unfortunately, even though they tried to resuscitate him, he was involved in a case of homicide or something like that. And Takao, you, and everybody was just moved away from the case because we're not dealing with the dead, we're dealing with the living. We must help our patients. So says Takao's father, who's the Lisa Cuddy here in this show, and he's all like, "No, we must focus on helping our patients." Meanwhile, Takao believes that we must focus on finding the truth. That's what diagnosticians do. Again, very Gregory House kind of approach to medicine and diagnostics. So at the night, Takao took Yu with her, and in their Mazda V8 or R8, can't remember, but a Mazda, like an actual Mazda logo, an actual Mazda model. How? Were they sponsored by Mazda or something? I have no clue. But they took that car to go to the site where that dude lost his leg. That was some sort of a construction site. There was plenty of police there on site because, of course, right, it was a site of murder, maybe, presumably. and a bunch of suits on the other side of the road looking very angry because probably they were investors in that building, and now the construction is gonna slow down or is at standstill currently. She approached a detective dude that she knows apparently, Kimiyasu Sakurai, who is like, he's looking like a detective from the 80s or 90s. Yeah, the 80s or 90s movie. He just looks like fucking Columbo. And they decided, they giggled at each other menacingly, and they decided to swap some information, right? Oh, I'm not saying that I will give you some information, but should you have some information, they lips might become a little bit more loose. You don't know, like, I'm not saying anything, but it's a possibility. I'm not going to deny that. Right? This sort of dialogue. So Takao took them to the museum that's about to open, where the T-Rex skeleton is outside. And presumably the guy lost his leg by being chomped by that Tyrannosaur head jaws. Why the blue blood? We don't know that. There's no signs of blood on the teeth of that T-Rex either. Why the museum? What's the connection to the building site? We have no clue about any of that, and that's where it ended, with a cliffhanger. Now, apparently, 2 episodes of this show aired simultaneously, one after another, aired as a two-parter essentially. So, people watching it originally were not subject to this cliffhanger, but yeah, that's a cliffhanger and a half, isn't it? We'll see where it goes. We'll see what's the solution to this little medical, although not entirely medical, mystery. Yeah, soon, or right now actually. You only need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And with that, we can start watching Ameku Takao episode 2 in 3, 2, 1, go. Starting from the OP. I still find it very curious that in this OP, it's just her. Like, there's nobody else, not her father, not you. Although Lil Bird, right, his nickname, and there is a little bird, so kinda sorta. But other than that, it's just her. I still don't know what to think of her not having any sort of a team to like bounce ideas off. At least not yet. As I said in the previous episode, like, half of the appeal of House MD was the team. It was Chase, Cameron, Foreman, Taub, Kutner, uh, who else was there? Amber, 13, the the Asian lady later, whose name I can't recall. Hmm. Luminol. Sure. What's with the luminol, though? Of course. Yeah. No, more likely the skull fell and chomped his leg, or someone did that with the skull. Right, okay. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit more until we learn why the blood's blue. So the skull was the last to go in. Hmm. Just laying there naked. Why? Yeah, that's where you call the ambulance. Don't just call a random doctor. Uh, I thought that maybe they're in cahoots somehow. Like that's a clinic that deals specifically with the gangs, right? Like a back alley clinic, kinda, with a front of a legit clinic. And the construction supervisor was also a part of this group. Something like that, maybe. That would kind of make sense. Are we breaking in? No. Hmm. Yeah, that gate leads to the park, which houses the museum, right? What? Tropical fish. What's that got to do with blue blood? His leg was severed. Yeah, that's a matter for a hospital, not for a random clinic. Exactly. Could you be any more vague? Are they all in cahoots? The construction site supervisor, the doctor. Oh, the suits? Oh, Yakuza, not investors. Sure. Hmm. Hmm? Oh, yeah, she was looking at those. Hmm. And then Yakuza went after him and used the skull to bite his leg off. Sure. uh, hmm. That's why the leg was chomped off. Right, was his blood blue? So it happened after the shooting. He got a bullet and it dissolved and he got lead poisoning. I have no fucking clue. Are those do those flowers turn blood blue? I mean, probably. To the museum? Yeah, it's a straight line between the clinic and here. So safe to assume the good doctor is somehow involved as well, besides just treating the Gungoon. Blue blood? Mm-hmm. Very good question. He wasn't bleeding that much though, so it must have happened before his leg was cut off. No, probably paint that is there in the corner. Tropical fish, yeah, we know that they somehow matter. Tropical fish are often fed like colored food to make their color much brighter. Was he like force fed tropical fish food and that turned his blood blue? The fish are blue for sure, yeah, so if they do use colored feed, they would be using blue feed. How did it enter his bloodstream though? I'm all ears, like legit. I want to see the connection. Okay, he got shot. He hid at the museum. Yeah, are we like recounting what happened? Oh no, it's the doctor trying to remove evidence, right? He noticed that the police got the whiff of him. Okay, what's his involvement exactly? Enlighten me. Enlighten me, please. He's holding something in his hand, some sort of a chemical that turns blood blue. Methemoglobinemia. We looked it up last time. It turns blood green or brown, not blue. No, because early on his blood was red. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. But he first got to this hack. Mm-hmm. So he needed a back alley doctor. Okay, so I was able to figure out that much, at least. And he cut off his head to his leg to hide the place that he was shot, to not reveal that the body was shot, right? So, like, what, hyperbaric chamber? They wouldn't have that at the museum. Met something that he has, and that was the spill in the room. Okay. Methylene blue trihydrate. Used in the care for tropical fish. Okay. Okay. So he knew that methylene blue would help here because he probably used it to treat his own tropical fish. Mm-hmm. He spilled methylene blue. Should have injected him. Weird that he didn't have any methylene blue on site. Right? He does have tropical fish at his place to hide the bullet wound. Mm-hmm. Where's the leg, though? T-Rex teeth are absolutely able to do that. Huh. Right, so no like knives, saws. Sure. Wasn't he still alive at the hospital, though? Mm-hmm. Sure. Makes sense. Like, never in my life would I have figured it out, but makes sense. I mean, reading about methyloglobinemia on Wikipedia made me stray because I read that it doesn't turn the blood blue, right? If I knew that methyloglobinemia does turn the blood blue, I probably still wouldn't have figured it out. Let's be honest here. Mm-hmm. Does this place not have like CCTV? Sure, that works. And they will find evidence there. Hmm. Uh, if it weren't for you meddling kids. He has a gun? No. Oh, he does martial arts? Cool. Unexpected, but cool. Damn. Straight in the solar plexus. Uh, I mean, you are kind of a loli baba, so yeah. Whomst. Oh, sister. 24-pack of beer he's carrying. That's a lot of beer. Clinic hours! Do your clinic hours, Takao! uh, okay, so beer is her Vicodin. Oh, that's more beer than just the 24-pack. That's 2 full fucking bags of bottles. And that's it. uh... Sure. That's all I gotta say on the topic. Sure. I'm gonna look up methylhemoglobinemia again. Well, I bumped my mic. Sorry. Methylhemoglobinemia. One of the symptoms is blue-colored skin. The treatment is methylene blue and oxygen therapy. Yeah. Benzocaine, nitrates, dapsone, they can cause methylhemoglobinemia. Oh, after credit scene. Are we gonna have to save a suicide victim? Probably. Okay. Pathophysiology. Diagnosis, yeah. Diagnosis is taking sample of blood and comparing the color to a scale that goes from bright red to dark red or brown. There's no blue on that scale. Cyanosis, yeah, makes your skin turn blue. There's no mention of the blood turning blue. Yeah, characteristic chocolate brown color, which is like the color of deoxygenated blood, and methylhemoglobinemia causes oxygen to not bind to hemoglobin because there's no hemoglobin in your blood. There's only methemoglobin, and methemoglobin doesn't bind to oxygen, so all of your blood looks as if it was oxygen poor instead of the bright red oxygen rich blood, right? Right. So you got your facts incorrectly there. Let's watch it again. That was the OP. Positive luminol reaction on the tip of the skeletal remains. Oh, right. I was wondering why luminol. Luminol is used to, like, uncover traces of blood. You spray a surface with luminol, and if it lights up, lumin, all right, then it means that there was blood there. Yeah. Lights up in UV light, I believe, not like, doesn't start glowing. So yeah, it was the T-Rex skeleton. How do you know that? Yeah, it was a big animal bite wound, but there are no animals that big with teeth that big walking Earth right now. Shark, really big shark maybe, although sharks have their teeth serrated, so the wound would look differently. Yeah, it would not be like a crushing sort of cut with piercing teeth, right? It would be something more akin to just ripped off. And it probably would be twisted, maybe, a little bit, because as the shark, swims and thrashes around, it would not be just a clean cut. Blood blue, yeah, apparently methemoglobinemia. And now everything just kind of sorta fits together. So what was the involvement of this dude? Because, yeah, this dude stated that he found the body, then called for the doctor, and the doctor started chest compressions. But that's not what happened, was it? So is the dude that oversees the construction also involved somehow? Privately owned clinic. Yeah, Dr. Hachisuka arrived at the scene, started chest compressions, but decided that it's something better dealt with by a hospital, which makes perfect sense. Gastroenterology, surgery. Yeah. Yeah, as soon as I noticed that this back gate goes straight into the park, and the museum is in the park, I knew that the doctor's gotta be involved somehow, but I had no idea that he was involved to this degree. I thought that maybe the dude without a leg suffered some sort of a freak accident. He lost the leg. They brought him to the doctor. The doctor wasn't able to save him, and then they brought him to the building site to maybe try to frame the whole thing as an accident at the build site, at the construction site, or something like that. But not quite. Yeah, he does have tropical fish with him. Tropical fish, yeah. How did she arrive at asking him about tropical fish? She already knew methemoglobinemia. She knew that methylene blue is used in treatment, and she knew other uses of methylene blue. She noticed the dude has an aquarium, so she figured aquarium, tropical fish, methylene blue. Let's ask him about tropical fish. If he knows a lot about tropical fish, means he knows methylene blue. Yeah, makes sense. Means he knows potentially methemoglobinemia treatment. So if the dude went to someone to treat methemoglobinemia, it would be him, so this doctor is involved somehow. Or could be involved somehow. He had a severed leg. Yeah, his heart already stopped. Couldn't have treated him here. Makes perfect sense. Look around the museum, and that was setting up the trap. And we didn't see the face of the doctor. Right, and it's proven through this little walk that the gate leads pretty much directly to the museum. Suspicious men around the crime scene earlier. People who looked like Yakuza. I would not have said they look like Yakuza. They just look like random suits. Just, random businessmen. I thought, again, angry investors, right? People who really want this construction to progress because they're gonna open a casino there or whatever, and because of this freak accident, because someone decided to die on the construction site, now the construction is gonna be late, right? Calling the contractors on his phone and trying to figure things out, right? I thought it's something like that. I would not have thought that they would be Yakuza. 4th Division, Organized Crime Division. Yeah, that's something I did not know either. That 4th Division is Organized Crime Division. Making a nuisance of themselves, yeah. There was another incident. Right, she was reading through the headlines on her computer, and I completely disregarded it as, what the fuck is she reading? That has nothing to do with the case. Lo and behold, it did have something to do with the case. They learned he was the one they were after. That's why they were on the construction site, to see if to like maybe potentially do damage control, shoot the cops, figure something out. I don't know. Yakuza took Kumade's life in revenge. That's why headquarters set up an investigation so quickly. Right, if it isn't resolved quickly, it may lead to all-out gang war. Gotcha, makes sense. So he shot a random Yakuza dude who survived. Kumade was shot at and ran away. Ended up getting caught, tortured, and murdered. Okay, so that was the assumption. Cutting off his leg, mutilating it could have been a torture method. Sure. Did any of the bullets hit him? No, we don't know of any bullets that would hit him, because the part that was hit disappeared. Museum is unlocked, apparently. Bit of an oversight, wasn't it? Victim's blood, but still not enough for a severed leg. So, whoever dragged him through here, or whenever he himself walked through here, it happened before the leg was severed. Makes sense. He got dragged into the equipment storage. I thought that maybe he got dragged out of the equipment storage. Maybe he hid himself here from the pursuers or something along those lines. And then I don't know. He got shot, he was hurting a lot, so he grabbed a random bottle off the shelf and injected himself with it, hoping it's gonna help with the pain, but it turned his blood blue instead and killed him, or something like that. But that wouldn't explain why he was just wearing his shorts and naked otherwise. Fish. Yeah. So it doesn't have to do with the fish food, it has to do with methylene blue being used as to like basically sterilize water from those illnesses that she mentioned. And here comes the doctor. Yeah, grabbing something. Why the victim's blood was blue? Yeah, methemoglobinemia, not methylene blue. Hemoglobin in red blood cells gets oxidized and turns blue. Well, when it gets turned into methemoglobin, strictly speaking, because hemoglobin gets oxidized. Does it get oxidized in the natural process of just carrying oxygen from lungs? I don't know, actually. Maybe it doesn't get oxidized. Maybe it just binds to oxygen or something. Can't remember, honestly. Difficulty breathing, impaired consciousness, and can lead to death. Yeah. He got shot. He went to seek medical help, and of course, at an underground clinic. Makes perfect sense. Methemoglobinemia shows as a symptom after being poisoned by something, especially methemoglobinemia this severe, because from what I read on Wikipedia, so again, grain of salt, methemoglobinemia can be hereditary, just a genetic disorder, but it turns like 5 to 10% of your hemoglobin into methemoglobin, so it's not deathly, and it doesn't turn blood like super dark. It's only high percentage of methemoglobin, I believe like over 50% of hemoglobin turned into methemoglobin, that is actually dangerous to your life and actually turns the blood dark chocolate, not blue. Dark chocolate. And, well, that cannot be genetic because people would just not survive after birth. So, procaine or lidocaine. Lidocaine is a local anesthetic. Why would you give him local anesthetic to treat a bullet wound, though? Unless it was a clean wound, like the bullet went through. Then, sure, local anesthetic and like sew the wound shut. Large amount of local anesthetic. Yeah, he must have used like a lot of lidocaine to cause methemoglobinemia. Lidocaine. Lidocaine. There we go. How much do you use normally? It is a local anesthetic, yeah. Local numbing agent. Most commonly used in dentistry. Well, I'm glad I did not get methemoglobinemia from all the lidocaine I'm taking at the dentist. I didn't even know it was lidocaine. Treats heart arrhythmia, epilepsy as well. Yeah, there's no dosage. Overdosage. 3 milligrams per kilogram. So it's really hard to overdose lidocaine. Like, really hard to overdose it. There aren't syringes big enough to overdose lidocaine for a healthy adult. History, dosage forms. Does it mention? Yeah, it does mention methemoglobin. Oh, so it is dangerous in cases of methemoglobinemia, right? No. Methemoglobinemia presents in cases of high concentration of lidocaine. So he must have used like a metric fuck ton of lidocaine to cause it. Jesus Christ, dude. How are you a doctor? How are you a doctor? You managed to overdose lidocaine. My dude. Why sneak a patient? Yeah. Not oxygen therapy. I doubt they have a hyperbaric chamber here. Methylene blue. Methylene blue trihydrate. Specifically 500 gram. Has a strong reducing effect. Means it rips oxygen from oxides. Right? I think so. Like you have, I don't know, iron oxide, rust. You dunk it in methylene blue and it turns back into iron, and methylene blue just sucks out the oxygen. So it sucks out the oxygen from methemoglobin, turning it back into hemoglobin. Yeah, sure. Curious that it also works taken orally. Treats white spot disease, water mold. Yeah, everything fits together. Absolutely it does. He spilled methylene blue, and she was able to recognize that it was methylene blue, so it really tied everything together, finding that stain. Yeah. And of course, hiding the bullet wound so that the police does not get involved, right? It's just a freak incident, really, but not involved in a shooting. So it's like different departments getting involved, or maybe police not getting involved at all. That was the hope, at least. And he couldn't have just amputated the leg because it would be too clean. And that would raise suspicions, right? Why is there a corpse with a surgically cut off leg on this construction site? But doing it with the skull, yeah, sever the head in a way where nobody would suspect that like other like third person was involved in it. You didn't expect that someone would find the body right away. But use that coincidence. Gave chest compressions. And call the emergency services. Okay, where is the construction site supervisor in this whole story? Because the supervisor did not see the doctor giving chest compressions to the corpse. He spotted the corpse, then called for the doctor, who started doing chest compressions. So something's still amiss here, unless the supervisor was also involved with this criminal group. And he wouldn't be declared dead while the doctor was giving him chest compressions. So that skewed the time of death as well. Yeah, makes sense, actually. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he's gonna get arrested for breaking and entering with intent to steal. They're gonna look through his clinic in case he actually stole something, perhaps beforehand, and then coincidentally they're gonna find fingerprints and maybe yeah, that's actually cool. Kind of like who was that? I think like the Don of Italian Mafia, who got jailed not for his criminal activities so much as for not paying taxes, I believe. Yeah, something like that. If it weren't for you, meddling kids, and a dog too. Cool. I like that this dude knows karate, apparently. Nice tidbit, right? Like, it adds to his character because so far he's been just kinda plain. A little bit of a rubber duck that Takao just talks at to give us the viewers exposition when it comes to her thought process and her theories and whatnot. But the fact that he has something going for him at least makes him a character. Sister, and yeah, she doesn't want clinic hours, thankfully. At least that. Sweets, cakes, and beer. Lots of beer. That's a great book, just called Awesome. That's an awesome book. And we have a preview of our next case. A high school girl throwing herself under the train into the spell of shimmering light. Well, shimmering light. She did not actually want to kill herself. It was a neurological symptom that made her walk towards the light of the train. Just spitballing here. Knowing the kind of cases that appear on House MD, it wouldn't surprise me if this was something like that as well. The girl did not want to kill herself. It was a neurological symptom that made her walk into the light of an incoming train. Or perhaps her suicide attempt itself was a symptom. Hypothyroidism. or something wrong with her pituitary gland. I know that pituitary gland doesn't deal with like depression, it deals with adrenaline production, I believe. But if I know House MD, it's always the pituitary gland. They fucking love the pituitary gland. Alright, that's the episode. That's the episode. It was cool. It was fun. I like the like entire thought process given to us. I like that it actually didn't feel like bullshit, right? Like there's that uh, green text screenshot floating around, like talking about the Sherlock TV series, right, where he figures out that a dude is allergic to nuts because of something he noticed in the reflection of his eyes and gives him peanut butter sandwich and that's how he kills him or whatever kind of bullshit, right? It's not this show, this story, I'm gonna say, because it takes root in the light novel and the manga. So far, it actually feels like show with smart people written by smart people, and not show with smart people written by stupid people who cannot tell intelligence and magic apart. Right? Kind of like the Sherlock TV series, where Sherlock is so smart that he basically has magic. Kind of sort of deal was there. Uh, it actually feels nice. The methemoglobinemia. That's gonna that's gonna continue sitting bad with me though, because it doesn't turn your blood blue. It turns it dark chocolate, not blue. Turns the skin blue. Cyanosis, absolutely, doesn't turn the blood blue. And his skin wasn't even blue. He did not even have cyanosis. Yeah, if I only had known that it was methemoglobinemia. If only I had known. Hopefully, future cases are a little, I don't know, better researched. I don't want to say better researched because I feel like that would be a little disrespectful, right? Because there's been plenty of research that went into this case, I'm willing to bet, and plenty of research that's gonna go into further cases. I'm also willing to bet that. But yeah, it was cool. It was fun. It did give me a bit of that kick that I'm getting from House MD, trying to figure out the cases, right? Like, oh, maybe it's mold, or maybe it's not mold. Although, in House MD, it's often a little bit, maybe not easy to figure out what's going on with the patient, but there is a certain there's a certain pattern, right? They have the first suspicion and it's never correct. Then they have the second suspicion and it always makes the patient worse. Then they have a third suspicion and it doesn't help. Then House goes to talk to Wilson, gets an epiphany, and walks out not saying anything, probably steals a sandwich as well, and he injects the patient with printer ink and that fixes him somehow, right? Like that's often how it goes. We don't know how's it gonna go in this show quite yet, but overall I like it so far. We'll see where it goes next, right? But right now I think that's gonna be it from me for today, but maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. If so, say so in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only House MD, the anime series, but also Shangri-La Frontier Season 2 and plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when those videos go up and when I go live, because I stream sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs absolutely nothing to do so, and it helps the channel an awful lot. And with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB the Rainer, Dr. Watt, Akamaser, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to drink methylene blue.